Our guest lawyer, Olubukola Shimolu, tells us his experience with the police and the importance of the presumption of innocence, the legal principle that one is considered innocent until proven otherwise guilty.
The Constitution is still clear. You are innocent until proven guilty. So no matter the level of accusation, you are still innocent. And so the police must always treat suspects and accused in that light. Even where they are caught, where they are arrested at the scene of a crime or committing a crime, since the law must take its course, police must also follow the law. You get to the police station and the IPO has left for the day. That's usually the worst, because then it means that your client has to then sleep in a cell, literally dehumanized. We all know the conditions of Nigerian cells, much worse the prisons. So yes, that's really what you get. That can be the worst thing, to have your client sleep in a police station. The stigma, is always there, and it's not good. There are other things, but that's the worst one. To have you sleep overnight in there, and then you probably might, if it's a weekend, that's even like worst of the worst, because you have to then wait till Monday or thereabout to get your client out of the cell. We all know on paper that bail is free, but in practice, it's not really free. It's not free, and there's the spirit of camaraderie amongst the police force, and so it's difficult to have a police officer not support his colleague, whether it's a junior or whether it's senior. But thankfully, I think in this few days, we have seen the police demonstrate that yes, if you're a police officer, you're caught in the act, you will face the law. We have seen that demonstrated, and it's a good one.
What are your thoughts on law enforcement in Nigeria and the rule of law, especially when we think of the agency, and that is the Nigeria Police Force? In
relation to the police and the enforcement of law and the rule of law, two things come to mind. One is that you have situations where you have highly placed people, well-known, well-heeled, highly connected people. When they run afoul of the law, you find the police more or less giving them some level of protection. There are cases where somebody is accused or suspected of committing a crime, and because he's highly placed, you hear a police officer say he has to get clearance to go and arrest. Why? That's your job. Why do you need clearance to go and arrest somebody who has been suspected of committing a crime or who have been accused of committing a crime? For people who are not well-heeled, who are not highly connected and wealthy, they just pick you up. In fact, you don't even have to commit a crime before they pick you up. We hear the other day I was in the police station to deal with another matter, and some residents came to complain that the night before, policemen came in the bus and then just packed all the boys in the area. So they didn't have to commit any crime. They just packed them and then bring them to the station and then try to extort them. So to that extent, enforcement of law has not followed the due order, because which law do you want to enforce on somebody who has not committed a crime, or who has not been suspected of committing a crime, or accused of committing a crime? There's no enforcement. The enforcement doesn't even come in. But yes, operation of the rule of law, you can't arrest somebody who has not been accused or who is not suspected of committing a crime. Nigerians have lost a lot of confidence in the police. But I think, and this is my opinion, that in the last couple of months, I think things might be changing. If you look at the issue of SARS and the upheaval against their operations, not all over Nigeria, apparently. It's not only in Lagos, or it's all over Nigeria. And what the Inspector General of Police did, I think sometime in May, disbanding and streamlining the operations, disbanding them from operating in issues or outside armed robbery, and you know, streamlining the operations and then giving them some better kind of identity. I think we've had less, if at all, any of the issues that were raised when they were on the streets. So to that extent, yes, Nigerians have lost a lot of confidence in the police, but because of these things, I think that confidence might just be building again.
What do you say about this operatives whose sole purpose of joining the force is to make money, to extort?
Policemen today, quite a number of them, I wouldn't say in the majority, I wouldn't say most of them, but quite a number of them are not really there for the sake of the love of securing lives and property. I think they're just there because there's no job anywhere, there's no money anywhere. So at least if you don't get salary, you can get to extort people, or maybe you can get to make some money somehow. Maybe they're just there for it. If you look at the barracks where they live, it's pathetic. Pathetic. As in pathetic. Some barracks, you go in there, no doors, no windows. You look at the septic tank, it's broken. You look at the environment, is dirty. It's nobody will be in that kind of an environment and be motivated. I think government should take a blame. Police is funded by government. The individuals can only appreciate individual efforts of policemen for their bravery, for their integrity. We see that happen all over. You know, we see that happen. I mean, we've seen police officers honored by the citizens for one act of bravery or integrity or the other. But by and large, welfare for the police is federal government's responsibility. And of course, federal government will work through the Police Service Commission and all the related agencies and organs, Ministry of Internal Affairs, you know, to make sure that things work for them. Nigerian policemen, funny enough, do very well, like the military, when they leave the shores. And they are given awards, they win awards, they get accolades. But when they come here, why? Because the level of attention and details paid to their welfare, or paid to the welfare of police officers outside Nigeria, especially overseas, are much better than you have in Nigeria. The federal government needs to step up the game for the police officers.
Would you say that the police have become ready tools in the hands of politicians?
I read recently where a statement was credited to the chairman of the Police Service Commission, where he said that I think they were talking about why too many policemen are attached to influential Nigerians. And he said, look, these people pay these policemen. The Nigerian police force does not have the funds to cater for these policemen. So if you pull them off, how do they get funded? So you see, we go back to that issue of funding. And then again, of course, when you are attached to a politician or a person of influence, you become a willing tool, because where you're coming from, nobody's taking care of you. These guys are taking care of you. They're even going to the extent of giving scholarships to your own children, supporting you to pay your house rent, which the police force can't do. They've said so. They can't do. So yes, they will become willing tools, and unfortunately to the detriment of the larger society. Because when you become a willing tool, you don't see the larger picture anymore. You are pursuing a selfish agenda, you are pursuing a selfish goal of a selfish politician or even a selfish individual, person of influence.
What relationship should the police have with legal practitioners, lawyers?
Ideally, lawyers and police officers work hand in hand, they work hand in glove. You know, you hardly have a case, you know, without a lawyer attending to it. And I mean, a case with the police, whether the lawyer attending to it. But sometimes you've had frosty relationships, you know, with police officers because they don't want the lawyer to come because he knows exactly, you know, what it is. You know, he can ask the pinpoint questions that if the lawyer wasn't there, probably may be able to bamboozle the suspects or the accused. So to that extent, maybe, yes, they've had this first relationship. But by and large, lawyers and police officers work together. They work hand in hand. And they should be partners in progress. They are partners in progress, actually. And I think that relationship should be harnessed. That relationship should get better.